Mindfulness, it's all about cultivating present moment awareness. And for that, you need to be able to hold one thing. Do you know what that is? Let us show you. Hi there, welcome back to our Shine Collective. My name is Liz and we are here to support your conscious evolution through our emotional well-being series. We have been talking about what mindfulness is and isn't, but now it's time to break down its core components. A core component of mindfulness practices is focus attention. What exactly is attention and how can we focus it? To give you an analogy, let's imagine a flashlight. This flashlight represents your physical body, and the light that beams from the flashlight is your attention. This beam's job is to illuminate a specific area, making it visible to the one holding the light. Now, you may be wondering, who's holding the light? Well, like a flashlight, you contain the light within you, but how do you know how to activate it in the first place? Just like we can use our attention to watch the news but not necessarily be aware of its impact on our psyche, hearing a song without listening to the lyrics, or eating food without savoring it, having a brain doesn't make us more mindful. For this kind of engagement to occur, other elements are required, and those are intention and attitude. Attention allows us to make things visible, so we can become aware of them. Awareness only requires that we beam our light or focus towards a specific thing and see it as it is. But just as you cannot force yourself to go to sleep, for any sort of effort will only lead you to feel tense and frustrated, intentional focus requires patience, receptivity, and acceptance. When we're mindful, we can see where our attention is and be present with it, and also detect when it wanders and bring it back. For instance, when we focus on an object such as the breath or a body region to stay connected with it. As soon as we get distracted by thoughts, feelings, or body sensations, we redirect our attention back to the initial object of our focus. This training strengthens a crucial aspect of emotional self-regulation, which is the capacity to monitor our thoughts and behaviors. However, if we infuse the container of our attention with a distrusting, judgmental, and impatient awareness, those tendencies will only get stronger. Suppose while you're practicing meditation, you look at the content of your mind with an attitude of condemnation and criticism instead of acceptance, kindness, and curiosity. In any case, those will be the patterns you will strengthen into habits. In mindfulness, attention is the what that requires us to intentionally focus our awareness on a specific experience with an open mind, whereas our intention sets the stage for what is possible. They are our where for cultivating mindfulness, our desire, and motivation for the practice. Intentions are akin to a compass, setting our emotional energy in the direction we want to go. The quality of our attention or our attitude is the how that infuses the practice with discernment rather than judgment, acceptance instead of resistance, and kindness over criticism. When it comes to attention, two elements are at work here: the one that demands attention and the one that regulates the attention. Things that demand our attention can fall into external stimuli such as noise, a handsome passerby, or an advertisement on TV, and internal stimuli such as feelings, emotions, or thoughts. For example, when we suddenly hear a loud bang, our attention is automatically directed to the sound. The same is true for internal stimuli. A worrisome thought can also draw our attention and distract us from what we were doing. The world is indeed a hectic place with so many things vying for our attention. Nevertheless, everybody has the will or ability to choose and regulate where they place their energy or focus. When a loud bang draws our attention, we can decide to redirect our focus to what we were doing before being disrupted. There's no need to get into a story about it. Just take a few deep breaths to calm your nervous system to communicate with it that you are safe, and once you feel safe, resume what you're doing. Regulating our attention is the most critical form of self-control. It plays a central role in how we deal with our emotions and manage our thoughts and impulses, and it is also a powerful predictor of happiness and satisfaction in our relationships. This too can be trained, and we will be showing you how to do this during this series. Now, you may be wondering, why is attention so crucial to our emotional health? And the answer is simple. Attention is the true currency of the modern world. Not money, which is a social construct based on trust, or power, which is a perception of status. but attention. When we look back at the previously discussed dichotomy of the elements that are involved in attention, our thoughts or external stimuli are what requires our attention. Mindfulness is the element that regulates our attention, strengthening the mental muscle that intentionally directs and redirects our choices to whom, what, and where to focus our energy. In a society that is as technologically advanced and globalized as it is emotionally mature, our attention has been fragmented into states of hypervigilance, addiction, and depression. And without mindfulness to regulate our inner states, we find ourselves living in a constant state of mental churn over the uncertainty about our future. The lack of self-control and accountability for our attention only means it's being controlled in some other way. Yet, how much of that is personal choice versus collective responsibility? For the old systems to prevail, you have to continue to actively choose what they value, and that is what our current education, mass media, and consumer models have been doing. Whether we are aware of it or not, we have been allowing our attention to be exploited to get us to do things that keep them alive, like shutting down our feelings, drinking copious amounts of alcohol to numb ourselves, self-medicate to keep up or wind down, consuming the latest trend to fit in, and shop to make ourselves feel better, bomb our perceived enemies, poison our habitat. If you can name it, we're doing it. These are the things we have been taught to do with our free will, by giving these broken systems our unconscious attention. If you want your power back, you need to know where you're giving it in the first place. A quick example of examining how much power you are giving away would be to practice media fasting. Understand that news outlets and social media can only survive as they are through their ability to sustain our attention. Since they rely on priming us for vigilance and comparison, when we overfeed our minds on news and drama, our brain becomes more vulnerable to stress and psychological turmoil. And since the brain and nervous system have not evolved to hoard infinite amounts of data and stimuli, their overload may cause it to shut down conflicting information and narrow our perspective on potentially biased viewpoints. It is one thing to be informed, but quite another to expose yourself to sensationalized negativity daily. So we invite you to practice the following exercise. After watching the news, ask yourself these questions. Did I learn something new, or was it just confirming my bias? Do I feel agitated, angry, or upset? Consider limiting your news consumption or cutting the cord altogether. You may find that the essential news for you will come to you regardless. And for those of you thinking, isn't that burying your head in the sand? We invite you to expand your perspective and consider the following. There are many good and bad things happening in the world. News outlets' business model keeps us at a negative sweet spot we can collectively handle before drowning in apathy. After all, none of us can wave a magic wand and make it all go away. Yet, if all you feel is despair and powerlessness while being fed a steady diet of uncertainty and fear, it begs the questions: is it the point of being informed to feel miserable? How is it helping you thrive? How can you be of assistance to others if you cannot even alleviate your own suffering? Remember, no one can pour from an empty cup, so you need to take care of yourself first. You have the power and responsibility to choose what you will focus upon, and you know if it's serving you by checking in with how it makes you feel. Once it becomes something you feel, you have to shift your attention inwards so you can process it, challenge it, and decide if you want to keep feeling that way. After all, you do have control over your thoughts, your boundaries, and your behaviors. If you don't have the solution, it does not serve you to be focusing on the problem. In fact, you won't find the solution while operating under low-frequency thoughts, because both the challenge and its resolve are mutually exclusive. That is the reason why most solutions come to us when we're not focusing on the problem. You need to be at a higher wavelength. So give yourself a break from the news and social media and spend more time in nature. Commune with your friends and family. Practice mindfulness to promote attention restoration, such as bearing witness to how your mind purges attention fatigue, and journal it. Your mental and emotional health will thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach more people looking to improve their emotional well-being. As usual, we thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next week.